The stock market is up by about 30% from the March 23rd low, but that doesn't mean we're heading straight toward new highs, says one strategist. Paul Schatz, president of Heritage Capital, stated that while I think this rally is very impressive and it has a lot of thrust that you'd normally see at the beginning of new runs, I don't think the all clear has been sounded in the market and we're going back to new highs right now. I tend to agree with Schatz. So don't expect a V-shaped stock market recovery or a V-shaped economic recovery. Instead, expect more volatility, at least in the near term. However, Schatz is bullish long term and stated that he sees new highs next year and Dow 40,000 after that. According to Schatz, the panic may be over in grand form, but I'll argue that we're going to see more panic days in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Therefore, Schatz has argued that stocks have come so far and so fast that he would not throw new money in today. He advised to be patient and pick your spot. I agree with that assessment also. And that's also why I say to spread out your investments over a 3 to 4 month period. But overall, I think that his market speculation fits well with what I see in the charts. So let's take a look at the charts. Today we're going to look at two charts, beginning here with the 2-year weekly on the spiders, the SPY, and the close Friday was 286.64. So if you start there at the top, we came down very hard, very fast to that point there, and then back up here to the current level. Now, that does look like a V recovery, doesn't it? Well, don't get your hopes up. Moving on down here into the MAC, the problem is the distance between the slow line and the fast line there. Fast line, negative 10.216, slow line, negative 4.964. So there's quite a distance here between the two. There's a lot of room. And I think that's where some volatility is going to come in. And Schatz is pretty much saying the same thing in his own way. You can see here that the histogram from that bottom there, nice basing, we're heading on up, but we're still at a negative 5.25. So a lot of things can happen while we move on up. Into the relative strength, we're at a moderate 49.56, so we're just knocking on the door of that midline or 50 line. So again, we're gaining strength, but we don't have enough strength yet to continue on. Same thing with the stochastics. Nice bottom here, fast line moving through the slow line, but still under that 50 or midline. Same thing with Williams, just barely popping above that midline, but still not strong enough. Decent bounce with a base there, heading on up, but we still need more to go. So I think the jury's out. And to me, that V-shaped recovery there, I think, is going to get interrupted by some volatility while the fast line continues to approach that slow line. So let's go take a look now at the daily chart. And here's the daily chart. Starting here at the top there, we came down fast and hard to that point there. We came up, hit the 20 EMA, had a consolidation down here, right back on up. We had a little bit of tangle with the 50 EMA, and we headed up higher. Now, I do think there's a possibility of having another consolidation into that area there. That's what I'm looking at right now. I think that's a probability, a decent probability that's growing. Basically, the VIX or the fear factor is starting to base and its level is in the 40s, so that's still relatively high. And if it decides to base and head higher, that could cause trouble. So that's just a red flag out there, a cautionary flag we need to pay attention to. Here into the MAC, the fast and slow line are both accelerating. Fast line just went above that zero line. Slow line's heading on up. So it's gaining strength. It's not as strong as I'd like to see, but it is gaining strength. And another little red flag, cautionary flag here is this. Looks like there's a little bit of a topping process there. So at this point in time, the probabilities are growing that we might have a little bit of a consolidation. Nothing more than that, at least that I see at this point here. Just that possibility. Here, relative strength 66.45. That's moderate, but a little bit of a topping process there. It isn't really definitive yet, but a possibility there. Into the stochastics, this perhaps is a little more of a topping process here with the fast line coming down, reflecting off, coming back up here. So I think that things weakened here and they can weaken again. Again, this isn't 100% probability, but the probabilities are growing. Same thing here into the Williams. We've been sawtoothing up here for some time, and I think it's just starting to get a little bit stale. So we may have a topping process there. This is not as definitive as some of the other oscillators. This shows good strength. So we'll say that there's good strength in the market. Things have improved quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, but I think the probabilities are growing that we just might have another consolidation. At this point in time, again, a consolidation. I don't see a retest of that low, at least not what I see in the charts at this time. So just be cautious and spread out your purchases if you're buying. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.